Hi there, I'm Rebecca and a really warm welcome back to my channel, PumpkinBecki. In this week's video we're going to be doing an update on the spring garden behind me, and we're also going to be planting some bulbs for summer. Let's get started. Last year I posted a video all about buying bargain spring bulbs and how to get them to help you make a really good display of flowers and also choose where to plant them better than just looking at a bare bit of ground. And I got a really nice comment from one of my viewers asking me if I would do an update video, and I thought, well, now is the perfect time. The sun is shining, spring is springing, and everything is in full bloom. So let's have a little look at the sorts of things that I planted last year, adding to my already pretty good spring display. So the dog violets are in full bloom, and the muscari have just started to come out in the last couple of days, really. Some people find them a real pain in the garden, but if anything, I'd love to have more of them. The daffodils and narcissi are looking lovely. And they start here at this lovely white with a just slightly creamy coloured trumpet. This one has a slightly deeper yellow trumpet, through to the beautiful buttercup yellow on yellow of this one. I've just spotted another Canomeles sprout coming up from where the original plant was that I keep using for my bonsai, so it looks like I might have another Canomeles to work with. I've just spotted the first wood anemone. These are gorgeous. They turn themselves face up into the sun when the sun is on them, and then they close themselves up again when the sun goes down. I've got tons and tons of primroses again this year. Now I do have one of those cheeky crimson primulas which I really ought to lift out and relocate. One of the things I love about the woodland garden in spring is the way everything just sort of blurs together, and it makes its own beautiful little concoctions. So here you've got the primroses, cyclamen and the dogwood all together in one beautiful little picture. Here I've got a little hawthorn tree that I'm actually allowing to grow in ground in the hope that it sort of makes some really good growth, thickens up nicely, and then I will dig it up for bonsai purposes. These clusters of leaves are the Iris reticulata that I planted last year in my bargain bulb video. They flowered really well. They're quite a light blue colour compared to the deep dark ones I have further back in the border. The clumps of narcissi that I planted straight from those big pots of bulbs are looking fantastic. They really did do well last year, even though they cost next to nothing, and they've come again in these beautiful clumps of narcissi, really making an impact. I have an anemone preparing to bloom, and the hellebores are having a fabulous year. I really ought to go through and count how many different plants I have, but there are just so many, and they seed really well here into the woodland border, so there's always more and more. And I know gardening programs talk about how hellebores, when they mix together, will end up a sort of muddy pink colour, but it's still a beautiful foil for the yellows and greens of spring. and this is my one and only really dark hellebore. I've noticed a lot of these American-based hybrids are now starting to be developed so that they always have their flowers up, a little bit like an anemone or something. But do you know, the thing I absolutely adore about hellebores is how shy they are, and it's not until you turn their face up that you can see what's going on inside. I can also see I've got some colour coming on the first tulips as well, so they won't be far behind everything else. The pulmonaria is looking lovely as always, and beautiful new buds are appearing on the peony, so I will consider cutting down the old growth fairly soon. So you can see everything settled in really well over last year, which is fantastic. Really pleased with how it's looking this year. It's probably its best year ever. Now we're going to add something a little bit extra for summer colour. These are Liatris corms. Liatris are native to North America. Very tall, spiky flower stalks, which are either purple or white, but they're absolutely wonderful for pollinators. Bees go mad for them, particularly bumblebees. And also, if you leave the flower stalks on over winter, goldfinches love the seeds. Bonus. Now, Liatris are quite interesting because the flowers actually start opening from the top down, rather than like most things, hollyhocks, that sort of thing, will tend to start blooming from the bottom upwards. They make a wonderful cut flower, have a really good vase life, and they also make a wonderful mid to back border plant in the garden. Eventually these little corms will multiply and expand into little clumps, and you can lift and divide them and pop them elsewhere in the garden. I bought 60 corms. I think that's going to be quite a lot. I actually bought 30 each of the white and 30 of the purple. So what I'm going to do is put them all into one bag, jumble them up so I get a nice mixed river of colour. I don't want to plant them too thinly, but I also don't want to plant them too thickly. I don't want them in one big blob. So let's go and do that. So here is a Liatris corm. I received these actually back in probably November time, just as the weather was turning, and it was really too wet to put them out, so I have left them somewhere dry just so that they could overwinter really. But you can see the growing points here all the way around the corm, so they will get away nice and quickly once they're in the ground. And then the bottom is a little flatter and has these hair roots all over it. So make sure you plant them with the slightly pointier side, with the sprouts pointing upwards. So my plan is to form a sort of ribbon that goes sort of through here-ish with the Liatris corms. They like full sun, but they do prefer a slightly damper soil than I have. This bed can get quite dry in the summer, especially with the trees sucking all the moisture from the soil. brilliant. That's all 60 Liatris corms planted out. They should start to give us some colour around July time, so I'm really looking forward to that. Right, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to rate, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye.